Hello viewers, here is a Lasko WeatherShield Box Fan. This is a very uncommon earlier model. It was produced only for maybe a year or two, it seems. Let's see if we can peep the model number. The model number is, the model number is 3743, and I believe there is no Galaxy branded equivalent to this one. The information is 2001 to 2002, and it looks like it says 1.1 amps, type 1, and I can't read the rest of it. It wasn't stamped very well. This is one of the ones that has the earlier PSC motor, and these fans receive a lot of commentary, which a lot of it I think is really uncalled for. I think these were very good fans, these earlier ones with the PSC motor. Of course they cheapened out over the years, but for the first couple of years that these utilized these motors, they were quite strong, and I would argue that they were on par with the old Marco motors as far as power and performance goes. And not to say they were on par with build quality, because these did have some issues, but the performance I think was quite good. And people say, oh, it draws less power. Well, it does, but it's a different kind of motor. PSC motors are significantly more efficient than shaded pole motors. Those old Marco motors that pulled the 2 amps or 2.2 amps, I think they were rated at, those were 6-pole shaded pole motors, and these are PSC motors at 1.1 amps. I don't remember offhand exactly what the conversion is, and of course there's a million factors to take into consideration, but I don't think that this motor is really any less powerful than the Marco motors were. Now these have become pretty scarce. They were recalled, and I don't think that really got rid of as many as it may seem, because the recall suggestion was not necessarily to discard the fan, but rather to just obtain one of the fused plug attachments that you add to the plug, which supposedly makes it safe. Now I don't know how many people really ordered those. I tend to think that because of the cost of these units, most people were probably less bothered by going to the store and purchasing a new one rather than taking the time to write to Lasko to obtain the replacement or the additional fused plug thingy. I really wish I had obtained one, because I was aware of the recall towards the end of when I think they were still offering the fused plug thing, and I wished I had wrote to them and tried to obtain a few of them, just out of curiosity to have, because they represent a significant period of Lasko history. But I never did, and those things I've never seen them in my life. Of all the units I've seen from this era, I've never seen one attached. I have a feeling I'll never see one. Probably never find one by itself either. So that's just kind of a thing lost to history. But anyways, there's a long story behind these and why I wanted one. Years ago, and to this day in fact, I have some relatives a couple states away that live on a lake. It's a beautiful piece of property, and their neighbor, one of the bedroom windows faced my relative's deck, and for as far back as I can remember, I guess it would have been probably late 90s, maybe 2000, 2001, that these models were still around. They had, in one of the bedroom windows that faced the deck, they had a fan that looked like this from the back. And I never really got close enough to the fan to see what kind of motor it had, but I remember this. in the window, constantly running on low every single summer that we would go over there. And then in more recent years, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, somewhere in that range, the fan got replaced with some piece of junk air conditioner, and I never saw the fan again. And so that was primarily what got me interested in these units. And so when I really started to acquire a lot of the fans that I have that I was looking for, this of course was high on the list. And since they were still under manufacturer, I just went to I think it was Home Depot, or maybe it was the Amazons. Probably was the Amazons. And I just bought one because they looked pretty much the same. Not exactly the same. I think this is different on the new ones. It doesn't say Lasko, but it looked very similar. So I bought one, and that was the fan that I ended up using in my bedroom window for years. I still use it in the bedroom window. I let it run on low in the bedroom window all through the warm season. Go outside, peep it in the window, and it recreates the scene that I saw at the relative's house. And so I was pretty content with that because it looked pretty much the same. And then one day, a couple of years ago, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago now, I was at a tag sale, a local tag sale, and I was looking through some stuff in a hallway closet, and I saw behind a whole bunch of stuff the back of this fan. I said, no way, that's the fan. And so I grabbed it, and this of course was it. I thought this was the fan. This was the exact one that was in the relative's neighbor's window. So I bought it, and here it is. I cleaned it up. It looked nice. Oh, well, this is great. You know, there's the original fan. Fast forward to this past summer. I was up at the relative's house again, and I did some air conditioner work for the neighbor because their units weren't working too good anymore. And I go into the bedroom where the air conditioner was, where the fan once was, and sure enough, the fan's sitting there in the bedroom, running in the bedroom, just moving the air around the bedroom. And it's not a WeatherShield fan at all. It's a very early premium fan with the full size. Something told me I wasn't going to get through this video without the phone ringing. Hello. Hello.
For choosing Hilton Hotels, we would like to inform you that thanks to the Friends and Family Rewards program, your membership was drawn to receive a complimentary stay. For further details, press 1 now. If you are currently caller number or waiting to speak with a representative, thank you for your patience.
Patience is a virtue.
Good evening, my name is Steve. What other person speaking with?
Myself.
How are you today?
Okay.
You called for a vacation package for...
Is everything okay? Jeez, he was really struggling. Oh, you can't make this stuff up. Anyways, so the fan turned out to be a Lasko's premium box fan, very rare, early model with the full-size Marco motor. And so while I was doing the air conditioners, I took the fan and serviced that too. Cleaned the motor out, put the oil in there. And as far as I know, it's still going. I asked the guy if I could have it. His wife wouldn't let go of it. So it's still there. And in fact, I saw it. That's the second one that I've seen in person. It's the second one I've cleaned up and oiled. There was another one at the one of the vacation houses, which I do have a video of. And, geez, I really want to find one of those now, because that's 2 places that I've seen those. But anyways, all these years fascinated by this model and never seen it. Yeah, all along it wasn't even the fan. So anyways, here's this one. Nonetheless, I like the fan a lot. It's a very neat model. Very, very powerful. The cage is still relatively thick. It's not as thick as like a... I actually have one right here. It's not as thick as a 223, for instance. You know, it's a little bit smaller, but it's not as thin as the 3733 is, whereas the measuring thing, the 223 is like about 6 inches, and this is about 5. So it's a little bit smaller, but it's still thick enough that it's pretty stable, and the blade isn't like a millimeter away from the guard. There's a little bit of space there. There's the tripod kick for the video. I don't know if you can really see that, but there's a little bit of space there, you know, half an inch or so. And this fan is in truly excellent condition. It came with the original feet, which is nothing short of a miracle, because these things always broke. This one is in the process of breaking. This one looks like it's okay. So those are there. They're kind of yellowed, which is odd because nothing else on the fan has yellowed yet. But those are with us, which is very unusual. The handle was the only thing that wasn't right, so I replaced the handle with one off of a newer WeatherShield model because it's pretty much the same thing. And so now the handle is new and clean, and if it breaks, you know, whatever, I'll just replace it again. So, very interesting fan. These get a lot of commentary, which I think is highly uncalled for, about the performance of these. I don't know, people are just like brainwashed into thinking that these are no good. And I'm the last one to advocate for cheap made in China products, but every now and again they come out with something that's decent, and if this is decent, then it is. What's the point in sitting here and saying it's not when you can put two side by side and they move the same amount of air? It's stupid. Okay, let's turn it on and check it out here. We're looking at 121.5 volts. And this is that flaky kilowatt meter because it's already reading 0.11 like it always does. So we'll have to take these power measurement readings with a grain of salt here because they may not be completely accurate, but it'll give us an idea. So let's go ahead and start this thing up on the low. And the bearings may be a bit stiff. They have been since I got it. They were like that immediately after servicing. I don't know why it's like that. It just is. A little bit of dust in here. Let's get that out. Now you may notice that this has the very distinct early pedal blade sound with that very annoying whir to it. I believe it's the same blade that they used in the early 3733s that had the Marco motor. Probably it's the same blade that they used in all of the earlier pedal blade fans, and they just changed the shaft size. I believe the Marco motors were a 1/2 inch, and these are like 3/8 or 1/4. They're not a 1/2 inch. It's already moving an incredible amount of air. And a lot of these have a good air velocity, but they kind of fail as window fans because there's a lack of the Venturian, so they end up drawing air from the front. But this is going to have a very high CFM volume as well because it's prevented, you know, from air going in the front. So all the air is in the back and it's all coming out the front, the way it should be. And you can really feel it. It's an incredible velocity coming out of here, and it's an equally as impressive volume. Now look at that, on low. Alright, let's go up to the medium. going to attach one of these because I think it's going to go over. I'm going to attach the broken one in case it ends up breaking. It probably will. And here, so I'm talking about it with the air volume here. Look at this. Look at all the air rushing into that fan, even from 2 feet back from it. It's even pulling air from over here. Like, it's really incredible how much air this is moving. These are no joke. I really think even at this speed on medium, these are outperforming like reputable plastic box fans like that one. These are incredible as far as air movement goes. Look at that. These things are insane. The balance isn't perfect, but it's not that far out at all. I can't really feel it at all picking it up. It shakes a little bit on the table. It's just because it's so lightweight. And you know what? It's not that loud either. For the amount of air that's being moved, the noise is totally reasonable. Okay, let's go to the high. And it may go over, I don't know, let's see. Actually, it's not going to go over. It's very close though. Unbelievable. People are going to have an outrage for me saying this, but I really think these are some of the most powerful plastic box fans we saw. The pedal blade set, built correctly, combined with a strong motor, really worked. Come on, tripod, give me my camera. Let's go back from the fan plate. I don't fall on everything in here. Okay, even this far back, look at that. That's 1.16 amps, which is right around what it's rated for. 131 watts, 32 watts. It very well could be minus 0.11 and be almost right on the nose. I don't know. This meter is flaky. And a power factor of 0.92. Go back down to the medium, which is a power factor of 0.99, 0.87 amps, and 104 watts. And the low, which is 0.64 amps, 76 watts, and 0.98 power factor. So not only are they extremely powerful, they're also very efficient. And it's not quite as quiet as 223 would be, but I really do think it moves more air. Go ahead, let it rip in the comments box. It is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and lie about the performance of the fan. That's dumb. Now let's see how the spin down is. That's not too bad. For some reason I thought it was going to be less than that. This is another just item of curiosity. This particular fan reincarnated a couple of years ago, only for a short period of time, unfortunately. It was the WeatherShield Selection Plus, or some crazy funny name like that. And it was more or less the same fan in like a dark charcoal kind of grayish color. And I bought a couple of them at the Home Depot, and they were fantastic. They're not quite as strong as this fan was, but they were really good. And it's a shame that they seem to have stopped making them, because those were probably the only modern box fan really worth purchasing. I bought 2 of them. I should have got more of them because they really were good. They seem to be like exclusive to the Home Depot because I couldn't find them in a lot of other places. But they were really good. It was interesting to see that this design came back. This guard design came back after being absent for so many years and then disappeared again. Lasko and both Air King, always more notoriously Air King, has a tendency, kind of a significant tendency, to reincarnate older Lasko models from the 90s, which is really interesting. And they're usually good, and people seem to like them. I don't know why they cut it off after such a short period of time. It kind of reminded me of that metal box fan that Lasko made a number of years ago. That didn't sell for very long at all, but that's probably because the price was so outrageous. The WeatherShield Plus Selection, or whatever it was not outrageously priced at all. I think it was like $30-something, which, although that's almost twice, it probably was more than twice the price of the 3733, I thought it was very reasonable for a good quality product. So anyways, that's going to wrap this one up of the Lasko WeatherShield from 2001-2002. Over and out.